All the greats have big dreams. They all find a way to attain those dreams, but they had to set their goals first. We're going to talk about it on today's podcast. Hi, my name is Michael Johnson. I'm a ballroom dance professional, a life coach, and a peak performance expert. I'm part of a group of motivated people who are dedicated to attaining emotional mastery and unlocking our full potential. We don't believe others are responsible for how we feel. In fact, we don't believe anyone can make us feel anything. We believe in the magic of ballroom dance. It has taught us how to improve our bodies, challenge our minds, and inspire our souls. And in return, I want to share those lessons with the world. We are lifers, and this is Magic for Life. Hi guys, Michael Johnson here with the Magic for Life podcast, and I'm so glad you joined me today. We're going to talk about setting some goals. I know we recently talked about doing a vision board, and that was sort of a precursor to this podcast. I wanted to chat with you a little bit about setting goals. In so many instances, it's a big sort of buzz thing to do these days. It's popular and trendy. Set your goals. Everybody talks about it. And so many people don't do it. You have to write down your goals. You have to actually dream big and write them down. The other day I was talking to one of my students that was setting a big goal, and it was one of their first times setting a big goal about their dancing. And I asked them if they wrote it down. They said they hadn't written it down. And I literally made them take out a piece of paper. And it wasn't even a notebook or anything they had. I just made them take out a piece of paper and write it down right then. It's so important. We've got to turn these things in our mind, this energy, this waves that are going on inside our soul. We've got to turn those into tangible things, and there's something so powerful about writing it down somewhere where it turns into something real. Now, all of you lifers out there are starting to get the hang of it. You're starting to get this idea that, hey, we've got to dream big and write it down. You know what? You can change your mind. And I think so many people are afraid to write it down and turn it into something tangible because there's this internal knowledge that if we write it down, it's going to come true. It's going to come to pass. Now, of course, you have to do the work and you have to put in the time. But listen, all the greats have had big vision. If you think about Disney and all of the great vision that he had to create this whole line of amazing things. You know, you've got Mickey Mouse and Disney World and Disneyland and this entire ecosystem and culture of Disney fanatics. And it was all built upon this incredible vision that Disney had. But you know what? It doesn't stop there. Think about all of the great athletes. You take somebody like Michael Jordan, or you take somebody like Kobe Bryant, Peyton Manning, any of the great athletes out there in the world that have attained amazing things. And they had great vision. They knew what they wanted. They set a goal, and they worked their butt off for it. Now, the work may not have been that hard because they loved what they were doing. So it was something that they loved to do. And so we talk about hard work, and sometimes there's this idea that it's maybe a bad thing or that it's going to be horrible. Well, that's not necessarily true because you're going after something you love and a goal that you set. So I want you to think about this for just a second. And have you written down what you're going after? Have you actually set a goal that is lofty and written it down? Think about it. It's not that hard. Get a piece of paper out. If you have a napkin in front of you, write it on a napkin. It's amazing the power of writing something down and setting a great goal. I'd like to tell you about a goal that I set out for myself a little over a year ago. I was sitting down with my team of awesome people, and we were brainstorming and talking about the future and really just sort of dreaming it up, as it were. And we thought up this idea and that idea, and what could we do with the Majic branding, and what kind of projects were we going to take on in the coming years, and what kind of things were we going to do. And one of the things that came up was this idea of writing a book. And I was like, yeah, I have lots of ideas of books that I want to write, but I'm not really a writer. And at the time, we weren't really putting a lot of focus into it. And I was like, yeah, someday I'm going to write those books. And we thought, well, what other kind of books would be fun to write? And we came up with this idea. And in that moment, of course, as my team sometimes dreads me saying, I was inclined to say, hey, guess what, guys, I have another idea. And they're like, oh no, not another idea. What is he going to do? And so the idea was simple. It was that we were going to write the biography of some of the greatest dancers that exist in the ballroom world. And they thought, yeah, that would be so cool. It would be so great to know about the lives of the dancers that came before us. How cool would that be? And I thought, well, you know what? We don't have a whole lot of knowledge about how to do this, but we know we can do it. I think we can do it. And so we started the ball rolling, and we had this big dream to write the biography of some of the greatest dancers that have come through the dance world. And we thought, gosh, where can we start? And so we set this goal and we set this dream out to write the biography of some really great dancers. And so we started brainstorming, well, who would we do? And I thought, well, you know what? Let's start close to home. Somebody that has influenced my life in a really positive way, in a great way. And I thought, gosh, I know exactly who that's going to be. And we decided to go down that path. And sure enough, we got Mr. Ron Montez on board. Ron Montez is the U.S. Latin champion 7 times over. He's one of the greatest coaches in the United States and maybe even in the world. If you talk to his colleagues and friends, you know, you get these amazing reports back from the people that are his peers and colleagues. I'm going to read you a quote from Donnie Burns, the 14-time world Latin champion. He said, "A lifetime of experience and highest grade knowledge. Ron Montez is one of the finest Latin dancers, not of a certain generation, but of the finest in the world, period." And that's from Donnie Burns, the 14-time world Latin champion, has some of the highest regard for Mr. Ron Montez. And we decided to get his biography done, and we set out to do that, and we set this huge goal to be able to write the story of Ron Montez. Well, that was a little over a year ago, and I'm excited to tell you now that we are just about to release. We are so excited. We've got the initial proof copies of this book done, and we have done some amazing things working with Ron to get his story out there. And we're so excited to share it with you. It's so close. We are so excited to bring this to the world because his story has inspired generations. And the things that he's done are truly amazing. And we're so excited to bring that to you. But I want to kind of cut back to what we started with in setting goals. We set this incredibly lofty goal. We went through the process of creating a biography for Ron Montez, and we are so excited to share that with you and share some of the things that he's been through in his life and really kind of shed light on how he became a champion, how he maintained being a champion, and how he continues to be a champion in his life. And we would love you guys to be able to see it and be able to read this book. So anyway, it's coming out soon, and we're excited about that. But I wanted to point out clearly that we set out this incredibly lofty goal. We put ourselves to work doing it, and sometimes it seems like nothing is happening, and sometimes it seems like maybe something towards your goals isn't coming to life. But if you just keep at it and you keep working towards it, those goals will come to life. And sometimes it'll take, a couple weeks, sometimes it'll take a couple months, sometimes it'll take a couple of years. But you just got to keep swinging the bat, keep trying to get that home run. And this is a perfect example of how that can come to pass. And so really what I want you to think about is, what can you write down right now? What kind of goals can you create for yourself that are a little bit lofty? What can you write down right now? Take out one of your journals, take out a notebook, heck, take out a napkin, and write down something that you know you should have been going after, something that you've wanted to do for years, something that you should have been going after all of this time, but you really just didn't write it down. You didn't set the goal to do it, and just start doing some things on it every day. One of my mentors that I look up to highly and have learned from through the years, Mr. Anthony Robbins, just has really changed my life. And one of the things he always teaches is never to leave the sight of setting a goal without doing some little thing to take action towards that goal. Doesn't matter what it is, just take some action towards it and get the ball rolling, and you never know what can be created because of it. So, write down something, one of your lofty goals, one of the things that you've been wanting to do, something. Even if it's a little smaller, it's okay. Write it down and start moving towards it. And you'll be able to come up with some pretty amazing things over time. We're so excited to share with you Ron Montez's biography. It's coming out soon. I can hardly wait to show it to you. We'll be doing some Facebook Lives on it soon. We're just about to the release date, and so you should check it out and see what his biography is all about. We'll be posting a whole bunch of stuff like that soon, and eventually we'll come back and we'll post the link on this podcast so that you can get to that biography. But you're not going to want to miss it. U.S. Latin 7-time champion, and he's got some amazing stories to tell in this biography. So we hope you check it out, and we'll be talking with you soon. But go set some cool goals and get the ball rolling today. Anyway, we'll see you next time on the next podcast. Thanks for joining us. I'm so grateful for all of you out there that are listening. And please share these podcasts with people that you think are ready to hear this message and that really want to take their life to the next level and start working towards being a lifer. We'll see you at the next podcast. Take care.
Are you loving Magic for Life? Please like and share our podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Want more magic for your life? Join me for some great Facebook Lives on the official Facebook page at Michael A. Johnson Official.